Would you guys do that? I would say if you have the ability to still drop Mecole, I would do it because then you get a free chance to see what you get out of Jalen Reagor, and you could probably pick up Mecole next week if you wanted to, because I don't think many people are going to be out there trying to grab him after his week 1 performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can drop Mecole because he's probably locked in for this entire week. So, but like I said, if you could do it, I would probably do that.
Oh yeah, he already played.
We saw Demarcus Robinson get a ton of targets. I mean, Sammy Watkins looks like he's not going away. So I mean, McCole Hardman obviously he's got that boom potential, but going forward with Reagor, I mean, if he's healthy and he's playing, Alshon's not there. You got Deshaun's there, but he's always banged up here and there. So if, especially if Deshaun was to go down for a lengthy period, Reagor could see a ton of targets go forward.
There's more week in and week out consistency upside for Jalen Reagor than there is with Mecole Hardman. Maybe Mecole Hardman ends up finishing the year with more points possibly, but the weekly consistency you can get, like I said, if Deshaun goes down for a few weeks, like Jalen Reagor, you can trust him in some matchups versus where Mecole Hardman after week 1, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to trust him in any week.
Yeah,
as long as Tyreek standing up.
Yeah, if Tyreek goes down or somebody, then it's worth it. But
yeah, even then, when Tyreek went down last year, it doesn't seem like they changed his role at all. It seems like at least after 1 week, maybe they just weren't trying to get like too crazy or implement a new game plan. But after 1 week, it seems like his role is what it was last year. So it's unfortunate, but
yeah, maybe for now, maybe you can give it some time. But yeah, especially right now, it's been 1 week. They could maybe start working a bit later, but for now, I would go with Reagor, 100%.
And then Drake over Boston Scott.
Yeah, Boston Scott's going to play 1 week. Kenyon Drake's going to play more than that.
At least I think
he's in a better
start sit for this week.
No, for sure.
One thing to monitor with the Eagles' offense in general, I mean, they're already down 2 of their offensive linemen, and then Lane Johnson's questionable. So if Lane Johnson was to miss this game, you're down potentially 60% of your starting offensive line.
Yeah.
I know we always talk about the Eagles having one of the best offensive line, but I mean, if you're losing 3 of the 5 guys, that has to make some type of impact. And I know we always joke about Washington maybe not being the best football team, but you go out and you get a guy like Chase Young. They still have Ryan, what's his name, Kerrigan, who's a good, DN too as well.
And they got Sweat, who's the Redskins almost remind me of the Niners.
So the Washington football team's got a good front 7. So I'm a little worried for the run game, at least in terms of the Eagles, if they are down 3 potential offensive linemen, because like I said, the Washington front 7 is pretty stout.
Yeah, they're going to be sneaky good, I think. I mean, offense, I don't know, but yeah, and especially a season with no preseason games, like you don't know, the Redskins could come out hot. I mean, offenses can come out slow too. I mean, it might take a little bit, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle. In the run game this week.
We got another one. You're lacking line continuity when you have 3 of your starters down.
Yeah.
I can see him, Mike.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, baby. Does Jonathan Taylor have high RB2, low RB1 upside later in the year? I have him and have to start him at flex this week. I think we would all say yeah. I think if you're listening to the offseason, we talked about how his upside could be with this offensive line. And if he could take the true number 1 role, then yeah, he has. If he takes the 1 role, I'd put him right there at a high-end RB2, low-end RB1 every week.
I'd be patient for this week. I mean,
yeah, but if he says that he's going to play him in the flex.
No, yeah, the flex is good for right now. He's worth the flex spot, but you don't want to put him in an RB1 or RB2 where he could hurt your team more. At least with flex, if he does do well, it's only going to help you. You don't want to put him up there yet, but I would say he's worth the flex play, especially against the Jags, who they should be smacking this week. The line's 7.5.
It's a decent matchup for that.
If
you're going to throw in a flex somewhere.
Yeah, if they're winning, they're going to be running the ball. So they'll give Taylor and Marlon Mack a shot.
This question's good as Boston Scott or Julian Edelman.
That's going to be a little bit more format based for me. In a PPR, I'm going to go Julian Edelman. Standard to half point.
Probably Boston Scott. I would standard.
It's hard where you're going to play Boston Scott.
The one concern I do have with Boston Scott is I don't think it's going to be a Miles Sanders workload. So I think whenever you're starting Boston Scott, at least temper that right off the bat, because he's not going to have the Miles Sanders role, you could say, which we like to use. It's going to be a lot more of a timeshare Corey Clement than
he says standard.
Standard.
Oh, it's Jules.
Well, they just said right now Lane Johnson's supposed to play, but he had an ankle scope, so he's obviously not 100%.
Yeah.
Like I said, they lose. What's his name? Brooks.
Brooks.
Dillard, I think was the other guy's name. So, I mean, and, like I said, when you got those DNs from Washington rushing in, it's a little cause for concern. But,
I'm going to go
Boston Scott should get, I want to say, at least 4 to 5 receptions out of the backfield.
And at least 12 carries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm assuming he's the goal line back out of the two.
Yeah, and he did well last year when they gave him a shot.
Yeah.
Edelman.
And I said Edelman, if it's standard, so if anyone has the same question and it's PPR, I would go Edelman in PPR only. Half or standard, I would go.
Andre, what's your opinion?
I think you should bench both of them and leave the spot open so that I can beat you. I'm playing him.
Nice.
Put in a kicker. Jules. Boston Scott, yeah. His eyes lit up yesterday. He's like, I got him. I was like, son of a bitch. That's great. But yeah, I would do Boston Scott. I do want to see Cam slang it, though. So, I mean.
We'll see what happens with. I mean, obviously, I'm a Dolphins fan, Jules, so I'm a little biased. But, I mean, we got Byron Jones. You got Xavier Howard coming back. They draft the rookie in the first round who's one of the scrappiest corners. It's a good man-to-man corner. And like I said, we're not sure what Cam's, his shoulder, if it's good or not. I know people are saying, like, he doesn't really tend to lean on the slot guy. But, I mean, Julian Edelman is the best receiving option on this team. So he should see a ton of targets. But, I mean, like I said, as a Dolphins fan, I'm a little biased because I feel like these corners could kind of make it tough for Edelman, who's getting older. What is it, Edelman, like 35 now?
34. Yeah, he's up there.
34.
No spring chicken. But yeah, I would do Boston Scott.
Yeah, and the reason. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's already been in the offense. I mean, it's Carson Wentz. I trust that offense more right now than Cam Newton and a bunch of guys that I don't know about.
Yeah, and Edelman's never been a high touchdown guy. So when we're going to standard specifically, you're speaking to total yardage and touchdowns. And I mean, Cam Newton's. You want to say on a per-game touchdown basis, he's not going to be what Tom Brady is or was, and there's the lack of continuity from what we know. So I think if you had to tell me who's going to have a higher chance of scoring a touchdown, Boston Scott or Julian Edelman, I'm going to go Boston Scott in this matchup. It's like Washington's going to either blow them out and he can get game scripted out, and he can't get game scripted out anyways because he can catch the ball. So it's actually become kind of simple choice for me in standard.
For sure.
The more we've discussed it.
All right, so it says, is Hayden Hurst a good start this week, and what's his upside this year?
Oh, go ahead, T.
You bet your goddamn dollar it is. Dial up Hayden Hurst. I mean, you know me. I've been on the Hayden Hurst train all offseason. I'm all in on it, bro. Like, I think the upside's crazy good. I think he kind of just slides right in there into that Austin Hooper role. And, he's out to prove everyone wrong that he's not a first-round bust. And, it was nice to see even during, like, the whole pandemic, COVID restrictions, like him and Matty Ice were still out there at parks, like, working together before training camp and stuff like that. And then when you have guys like Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, who the defense has to really account for, you're not game planning to stop Hayden Hurst. And, we saw in Dirk Cutter systems, the tight end will line up in the slot a ton, and they do tend to lean on the tight ends a lot when they get close into the red zone. We know Julio Jones, he's a monster, and he kind of struggles in terms of getting the touchdowns. So, yeah, I do love Hayden Hurst long term. And then, yeah, I think he should be one of those guys going forward where he's kind of like a set it and forget it tight end. So, yeah, dial up some Hayden Hurst.
Got you, Jules. Hopefully you make the wrong decision. But, no, to go on what T's saying, yeah, I think he's going to be the beneficiary, too, of having, Julio and Ridley there. They're going to command a lot of attention. And, I mean, if Gurley does his thing, I mean, he's not going to be blanketed in, crazy coverages. He's going to be able to, get his one-on-one matchups. And like you said, him and Matty Ice. Yeah, I fuck with Hayden Hurst a little bit more than I did before. Thanks to my boy T over here.
I mean, I would have to say you'd have to have probably a top 8 option to be even considering this question, like another tight end. And even if he's only 70% of what Hooper was, let's just say for week 1, at that role in week 1, I mean, it's projected to be a pretty high-scoring matchup. So there's going to be a lot of targets to go around week 1. So I'm not too concerned week 1 about it. Like I said, you'd have to probably have a top 8 option to be even considering, not starting Hayden Hurst week 1.
Oh, got another one.
We got another one.
Go ahead, Mike.
Tyler Boyd, Antonio Gibson, or Brian Edwards?
Ooh.
Is it format? When you guys are sending these questions, obviously the format dictates how we could sway towards player A or player B or player C.
Yeah.
In full point PPR, I think I'd go Boyd.
Yep.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
We don't know. I mean, you weren't here for the episode, but we discussed how the Raiders receivers week 1. I don't want to trust any of them because I don't know who's going to be on the field and what target share people are going to get and how this is going to be distributed. So that's why I'm staying away from it standard. So that's why I'd be staying away from any Raiders wide receivers week 1.
Standard.
Standard, I'd still go Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, I'm not considering Bryan Edwards as much as I love Bryan Edwards. Not this week. I mean, he could do well, but like Anthony said, he's a rookie, hasn't played. I want to see what Derek Carr does. So for this week, I wouldn't do Bryan Edwards. I'd probably go Tyler Boyd either way, because even though it's murky over there in Washington with the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Antonio Gibson might have slightly more upside, but you're getting a lot safer pick with Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, his floor is solid.
Yeah, and I mean he's let me pull up his touchdowns over the last 2 years. So I mean he has decent touchdown upside on any given week, but Antonio Gibson, we don't know. Like I said, we still don't know what the distribution of percentage of snaps is going to be week 1, and we don't know if week 1 he's going to be granted the goal line opportunity. They could bring in, I believe they have Peyton Barber in there, right? Yeah. He could be the goal line back for all we know week 1. So week 1, I'm trying to avoid uncertainty. You know you're going to see targets with Tyler Boyd, and you know he's going to be on the field, and there's at least a 50-50 chance that he's the number 1 targeted receiver in this matchup.
And he's better with A.J. Green on the field. So, I would say the floor, just
I'm going to go blow my nose fast.
Even the familiarity with the offense, Tyler Boyd's been there. Yeah, I would take Tyler Boyd in both. I would say in both instances, but it's closer in standard with Gibson. You just haven't seen him yet,
Yeah, standard for me kind of changes it. It'd be neck and neck for Boyd and Antonio Gibson, just because, Boyd is going to see a lot of Desmond King, and then in 2 wide receiver sets, he's going to see some Casey Hayward and Cliff Harris Jr. on the outside. The Chargers corners are going to – they have the best corners
for sure
in the entire NFL.
3 of them boys.
So it'll be tough, but I am projecting the Chargers to kind of like be up in this game, and, Burrow should throw the ball 35, 40 times.
Yeah.
If he's thrown that many times, 8 to 10 targets is definitely in the realm of possibility for Tyler Boyd. And, A.J. Green was out for a little bit, didn't practice. So that whole time while A.J. Green wasn't there practicing, Burrow and Boyd kind of, built this like rapport and chemistry. But I think Antonio Gibson might have more touchdown upside just because if they do get in close, maybe he just punches it in. But in terms of like who's going to be on the field more, Boyd shouldn't leave the field at all. Gibson, like you said, Gibson maybe. We even saw with Clyde Edwards, even as electric as he was only on the field for 65% of the snaps. I could see a similar situation where Gibson's out there at the most 65%.
And that's if they're winning.
Snaps,
if they're losing, it's it's Bryce Love, J.D. McKissick. So
he definitely has more upside. Mike, we can see the questions.
Okay.
He definitely has more upside, but safety, I would go Boyd. Good.
No, okay. So the next one is Evans with the hamstring or Raheem Mostert.
PPR. It's a PPR flex. What do you guys think?
I'm going Mostert all day. Evans has already got the hamstring. He was doubtful. He's coming in. But then also now he's going to see a shadow from Marcus Lattimore. In his games against Marcus Lattimore, he's had some good games. He also had some dud games. And Tom Brady's a smart guy. When you have Godwin, you got Gronk, O.J. Howard, they got these running backs. Like, he doesn't need a force feed Mike Evans the ball. Yeah. So, he's already banged up. He's got a tough shadow matchup from the corner. I'd go Mostert, especially because Tevin Coleman might not play or he might not get a ton of reps due to his sickle cell trait. And with the air quality being pretty bad down there in San Francisco due to all those wildfires in California, they were talking about Tevin Coleman potentially sitting out because it's a health risk for him.
Oh, there it was.
Yeah, he pretty much said everything. I agree.
Yep.
We got Coors Light or breakfast?
That's me.
Coors Light for breakfast.
That's me.
I'm gonna go Coors Light.
I'm gonna go Coors Light.
Only if the mountains are blue.
Yeah.
They're still blue.
All right, Mike, you want to read that one you highlighted?
Yeah.
Breakfast.
Yeah. So Beckham or DJ Chark PPR, especially with the tough matchup versus the Ravens for Beckham. Yeah, we all don't like Odell Beckham, so I think I'd rather play DJ Chark, but that's just me.
I want to know where, as far as OBJ in the flex or OBJ at wide receiver 2, or where they're at. I'm assuming that's probably wide receiver 2.
I'd probably be assuming that too as well. Wide receiver 2.
Yeah, because I don't know if he's like in the 10, but I like OBJ's upside, but I want to see it still. The Ravens D is good. They got some All-Pro guys over there, so I would probably have to go DJ Chark for this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna
this week.
Yeah, for this week. I know Mike says season long we don't like Odell, but I'll start him on probably majority of the weeks if I did draft him. But given this matchup, we're assuming the Colts are going to be able to wide receiver 2. We're assuming the Colts are going to win this game. There's a 7-point spread, which means the Jaguars are going to have to throw the ball a lot.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
And we already know that DJ Chark is the one for Minshew. So they have chemistry, they have rapport. Would it surprise me if he saw 10 targets in this game? No, it wouldn't at all. Now the game plan for the Browns to beat the Ravens is going to be ball control the clock, and not throw a lot. They're going to have to run it down their throat with Chubb and Hunt. So I think you might not see as much of a high target total for Odell Beckham in week 1 that you will with Chark.
Yeah. For me, it's DJ Chark. Like Anthony said, they're going to be chasing. Chark should see 10 targets. Odell, I'm not buying the Odell train anymore. He's no longer going to see those targets that he did in New York. And it's a tough matchup in Baltimore. You got Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey. Those guys are really good corners.
Yeah, I mean, they're
and
dogs,
Odell's
too.
not even the number 1 on his team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's Jarvis Landry there still. There's still Jarvis Landry for them to throw the ball to. As far as for the Jags, they have, like, Chris Conley. You have, like, Keelan Cole. I mean, you have Laviska Shenault, but he's a rookie. So there's just – he's more of the one, the main guy than OBJ.
I say Chark's touchdown upside is better in this game, too.
Yeah, in PPR.
Yeah, in this particular game.
All right, what do we got?
Let's go to this Instagram one. We got. Oh, you guys want to read out the Instagram one since they can't really hear me that much.
Okay. We got Ridley or OBJ this week and rest of season PPR.
No, you missed the one above
this
it.
one.
So we
sorry.
have. Go ahead.
Sorry, you got to wait. TTT.
It says Samuel or Kirk in PPR. If it's Debo Samuel, then you're starting Christian Kirk because Debo Samuel's out.
I'm assuming it's Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel.
I would go Christian Kirk.
I agree.
Offense, they sling the ball. Kyler Murray, I mean, they're gonna run those 4. He shouldn't leave the field either, even as a wide receiver 3 or 2, wherever you think he is. They run 4 wide more than anyone, so he should be on the field a lot. And I mean, I'm a Niner fan. I can't even say they smack him. They always play him tough. So I mean, it should be a competitive game. So I like Christian Kirk. I think Christian Kirk can sneak in a touchdown today.
Yeah, and it's a tough matchup on paper for Kirk, but the thing, with Curtis Samuels, we have a rookie head coach in Carolina, if that's who it is.
Yeah,
Curtis,
yeah,
okay,
Curtis,
yeah, perfect. We have a rookie head coach in Carolina, a rookie coordinator, a new quarterback, a lot of question marks there. Does Curtis Samuel offer upside because he can get loose and break deep? Yes, he does, but for all we know, Robbie Anderson is going to be the 2, and Curtis Samuel is going to be specifically for slot and kind of intermediate routes. We just don't know yet. It's very uncertain. We know that Christian Kirk has a role with the Cardinals, so for me, I'm trying to stay away from outside of DJ Moore starting one of the Carolina receivers because it's a question mark, boom or bust, and if it hits, I feel like you're going to get a little lucky. You're kind of guessing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's Kirk. It's Kirk for me too.
Yeah, and they slang that thing over there. So
Captain Kirk.
All right, so then you got Ridley or OBJ this week and rest of season. I'm just not OBJ. Like
Ridley.
I said, he's burned me too many times, so maybe I'm playing with a little bias with my heart here, but I do like Ridley's upside. I think his 3rd year, he could have a monster season.
good luck, Martin. God's work. That's right. Someone's got to do it.
So yeah, I'm going Ridley over OBJ for this week and rest of the season in full point PPR.
Yeah, as of right now, I'm going Ridley OBJ. I mean, I will adjust. I don't hold grudges on any receiver. While I don't like OBJ to where he was being ranked full season, I mean, if he comes out and takes over that number 1 role, and maybe the hernia was bothering him last year, and he looks different, and we see him as a true number 1, I'll adjust that going forward. But as of right now, where I had them ranked preseason was Ridley was higher in PPR for full season, and for this week I'd have him higher in a matchup where OBJ's playing the Ravens. So,
and then we got someone that just said Amari Cooper. Just Amari Cooper.
That's it.
I think Amari Cooper's going to have a dud game for you. I mean, he's already been banged up. He's, sat out of practice, was dealing with some soft tissue injuries, and he gets to see Jalen Ramsey. I think they've only played 2 games against each other, and Ramsey's just shut him out both times. And, when you have weapons like CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, I mean, everyone's on the Blake Jarwin train. Dak doesn't have to force feed Amari Cooper all these targets. I'd be fading Cooper if you could.
Yeah, he said today, well, I wouldn't start him either. If you have anyone who's remotely close to Amari as far like on your bench, I would
tier wise.
Yeah, even a little below. I would put them in just for this week, just because Amari. Yeah, he's a healthy Amari has struggled with him. So, and Jalen Ramsey travels, so he's not going to get away from him. He's going to be with him all game.
And Ramsey's at the best.
All right.
This is why I didn't like Amari Cooper though. It's too boomer bust for that price tag. But
Someone on YouTube said, "How do you think Bell will do today?"
I mean, safe floor with the volume, but I personally don't like the upside this week. We touched on it in the matchups. The Bills are a tough defense. Frank Gore is going to have some type of role. The lack of touchdown for Adam Gase, it's kind of a Gase thing. Sorry if you and Bell, but the lack of touchdowns that Adam Gase as a head coach has had year after year after year with the running back position. I mean, we saw Bell have, I believe, only 3 rushing touchdowns last year off
Yeah,
head.
it's bad.
And they're playing the Bills, who are a tough matchup. So, while I think he has a safe floor, I think he'd have to get lucky to get a couple 1-yard touchdowns to have a high ceiling game. So I don't like the upside this week for Bell, but you have a safe floor, especially in PPR. He's going to be out there in passing situations.
For sure.
They're more than likely going to be trailing. So safe floor. I mean, you're probably not benching him unless you have 3 top 15 options.
So someone said Jerry Judy. Oh, you read it. It's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, you got Jerry Jeudy or Malcolm Brown.
I'm going Judy.
Format?
I'm going
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry
In
Jeudy.
half point PPR and full point PPR, I'm going Jerry Jeudy. I mean, Cortland Sutton, he's got the AC joint sprain. He should be able to play, but I mean it's a pain tolerance thing. You know, they're gonna have to shoot him up with some pain meds to get through it. I personally have had an AC joint sprain, and I can just tell you it is pretty painful. I don't know how these guys are going out there even playing. I guess they're just getting jacked up on pain meds, but I think you can see a game where they kind of lean on Jerry Jeudy a little bit more. You know, if Cortland Sutton's not 100%.
And I mean, it sounds weird because he hasn't played, but Jerry Judy's better than Cortland Sutton is. I mean, Cortland. I know that sounds crazy because he's been balling, but Jerry Judy's a more renowned route runner. He can line up all over the place, and he's gonna get open. That's the thing. He's gonna get open, and Drew Lock's gonna find him. To where Cortland Sutton's a little bit more limited, can't separate as well, even when he's healthy. And I feel like the Broncos are gonna be losing when they're playing with the Steelers.
Yeah. No.
Right. Titans. So I feel like
Different Monday night game.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. But yeah, I would go Jeudy, especially in PPR. I think he can get you 7 for like 80 yards, and if he gets a touchdown, then I mean that's only better for you. You're good. But
yeah, I would go Jeudy. I mean, while Malcolm Brown was named the starter, this could be a three-way timeshare. Cam Akers could take the job week 1 and run with it. So there's always that too. Judy's going to be the one in this matchup, and like to Dre's point, we're going to be trailing, so you want to find a game script where it's a negative game script and you have potentially more than likely the number 1 target in this matchup.
And as far as for the Raiders, just bench all of them, Nick. All of them.
All right, we got a question here. Half point PPR, Michael Pittman or Philip Lindsay?
Half point PPR.
I'm going to go with Philip Lindsay. Like I said, I mean, I'm. This is my personal opinion. You could listen to theirs after that, but I'm risk adverse week 1. We don't know what Michael Pittman's role is going to actually be week 1. And in a game where they are playing the Jaguars in an assumed blowout, they're going to probably run the ball more than they're going to pass the ball. The run-to-pass ratio is going to be a lot higher on the run side. So we know T.Y. is going to see his targets. Jack Doyle is going to be the tight end involved. But as far as whether the wide receivers, where it's going to go, I don't know yet. So
yeah, and they got Paris Campbell still
Paris
there.
Campbell's still going to be there. He could essentially, see majority of the wide receiver 2 targets. So I'm going Lindsay. I know he's going to have a role in this offense. So I'd go Lindsay.
Yeah, I would probably go Lindsay also. Same thing, dictating game script. The Broncos could find themselves down to where he's more of like, I mean, him and Melvin Gordon can both catch out of the backfield, but they have Michael Pittman listed as a number 4 right now behind Zach Pascal, however the fuck you say his last name. Pascal. So they have him at the 4. I feel like that's not obviously like he's not the 4th best, but I think it's like a vet thing. So he might not find the field as often this week. So for this week, I would go Philip Lindsay. But I know we're both, Michael Pittman upside. He's gonna be a stud, but maybe give it a little more time with that.
Yeah, we see that.
I would say.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just got a man crush on Michael Pittman. I'm just concerned with Lindsay's upside in terms of touchdown upside. I mean, Melvin Gordon's a better pass catcher. I know it is a 50-50 split there, but when they get close to the goal line, you just pay Melvin Gordon all that money. I would assume they're going to give Gordon the goal line cracks, not Lindsay. He's a smaller back. Pittman, talented guy. We still haven't seen Paris Campbell get it done yet. T.Y. Hilton, not a high touchdown guy. So if Philip Rivers goes out there and he throws 2 touchdowns, I would say that Pittman's upside to get at least one of those touchdowns will be pretty good.
Yeah,
that is pretty close. That's a pretty coin flip right there. At the end of the day, so I like telling people, you can ask us our opinion. And, at the end of the day, that's just our opinion. Even these other experts, it's just their opinion. At the end of the day, you got to go with your gut. Like Mike, for instance, I know you've kind of been asking us, like, oh, should I start Robbie Anderson, this guy, but you keep reverting back to Robbie Anderson. At the end of the day, like your gut, your instincts, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, keeps leaning you towards the Robbie Anderson start. And I even told you, like, look, bro, start Robbie Anderson, because at the end of the day, if you don't start him and he blows up, you're going to be mad, because the whole time you are in your head like, oh, I should have started Robbie Anderson. So you're going to be more upset, not starting him and he blows up compared to then if you just start him, because at least you went with your gut.
Yeah, but listen to our opinion sometimes, though, because we're fucking
for
good.
Sure.
Don't fuck around. Don't just listen to your gut all the time, because that shit sucks sometimes. And that's why we're here. So don't always listen to that damn gut. That's all.
So we could do Amari Cooper or Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker did kind of kill it. What's it called when he played against Stephon Gilmore last time?
All right.
Then he raped him.
Yeah, he raped Stephon Gilmore.
Well, Sam the man, we're gonna just assume this is. I'm gonna just guess
just go
PPR half point.
I'm
gonna say Devontae Parker.
I'm gonna say Devontae Parker because at least if he's getting, I think there's less chance that he disappears than Amari Cooper. I think it's very similar floors in a sense, and very similar ceilings. Amari Cooper always has a chance of blowing up.
Yeah.
But I think there's a smaller chance that Devontae Parker disappears in this matchup than there is Amari Cooper. And I know Devontae Parker's had his own little banged up issues as well, but Devontae Parker doesn't disappear against top corners. At least last year for a stretch of 12 weeks or 9 weeks, he didn't disappear as much as Amari Cooper has in his career against top corners. So I'm going to lean Devontae Parker.
Yeah, I'll go Devontae Parker. I mean, I know it's going against Stephon Gilmore, but, I mean, he got it done against them. And, Fitzy, he'll literally just chuck it up to Devontae Parker. And that's kind of what Devontae Parker's game is. Just throw it up and let him go make plays. And we saw him do that all last season. I mean, Amari Cooper's floor is – I wouldn't be surprised if Amari Cooper got you, 2 for 24. That was his game. Devontae Parker can get you that on one catch because he's like the
he can get you 2 catches in 1 catch.
Yeah. And they have similar ceilings, which is the nice part about it. They could both blow up. They could have that similar. It's not like Amari Cooper could go out and Parker's ceiling is 5 for 56 and a touchdown. Parker could go out and have 7 for 121 and a touchdown, which is like an Amari Cooper blowout game. So. And then with that said is we view Preston Williams and Devontae Parker as potentially 1A and 1B. The Patriots might do the same. They might not move Stephon Gilmore. They might keep him on one side. We don't know yet how they're going to implement the game plan. Yeah. Jalen Ramsey more than likely is going to travel to shadow Amari Cooper.
For sure.
So I take that into account as well.
Yeah.
We got Instagram. What is Corey Clement worth putting on the bench?
I mean, he's worth a stash if you have a deep. I don't know what your bench looks like, but I mean. This could be a 50-50 timeshare. We believe Boston Scott's going to be the beneficiary of Miles Sanders being down. We don't know how long Miles Sanders is going to be out. We'll be able to see the workload after this week. So, I mean, if you have someone that you're not if you have a third tight end or someone you're not really using or you don't plan on using or ever starting, I would say pick him up.
Yeah, I agree. I'm always big on picking up both backups when a starter goes down. It's kind of like when Kareem Hunt. Everyone got Spencer Ware, and then you had Damian Williams, and then it was Damian Williams that worked out. So I'm big on getting one of the two if there's 2 guys because you never know. Clement showed it that he could play a couple years ago, balled in the Super Bowl. So I like Corey Clement, but, Boston Scott's done his thing, but it won't hurt you to pick him up because if Boston Scott gets hurt and someone does pick up Clement, you're going to be fucking pissed. Yeah. So you're better off. Especially if you could probably do that this week or before the game starts too. So.
Yeah, me, I always say it. I'd rather be a week early instead of a week late. You get him for free now. If for whatever reasons Clement comes out and he has a monster game, he becomes a hot waiver wire commodity. But now, if you get him right now, you got him for free. You're jumping the gun, stuff like that.
Kenny Galladay is officially ruled out.
Yeah, he's a bum.
David Montgomery or Le'Veon Bell.
Bryce Love's a healthy scratch.
Is he?
Yeah, they were saying Bryce Love was that. It was actually between. I was reading some things. They were saying they were going to cut either AP or Bryce Love, but obviously Bryce Love, the younger guy, still kind of recovering from the ACL.
Yeah.
So they kept him. But Montgomery or Bell PPR.
I'm gonna go Bell.
And then real quick on to Montgomery. Montgomery active, expected to see full workload. That's what I just read in Modern World. So that's why I just threw that update out there. Sorry.
I would say Bell's probably going to see more work in terms of receptions, maybe potentially total yardage, running the ball. The Jets have no playmakers outside of Jamison Crowder. I know we were getting all this Chris Herndon hype, but I need to see it first before I drink that Kool-Aid. Bell should see I think more work in terms of receiving and rushing combined. But I think Montgomery, we've seen him when they get in close, they don't shy away. They will do like what the Chiefs did with Clyde Edwards-Helaire on Thursday night. They will just hand him the ball over and over and over until he gets in. So I think David Montgomery, he has the high touchdown upside. I do think the Bears win this game. And then, the one thing that just makes me feel confident in Montgomery and his ability to be healthy, there was no rumors of them going to get Fournette. There was no rumors of them going to get AP. They didn't look at bringing any other running backs in when Montgomery went down with the groin injury. So to me, that just shows confidence that the team had in him to be like, okay, we're just going to sit you out. You should, we're going to be cautious with you but you should be good to go. They didn't address it at all.
Yeah, they're definitely committed to him, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I like Montgomery, but Bell, just because it's PPR, because even last year, Bell finished RB 16, 17, and he didn't even do well. But it was because of his floor of receptions and targets. I think that's the only reason why. Because Montgomery's got Tariq Cohen, who can, possibly take that part of the game away from him, to where Bell's going to be on the field a lot more because he's, he can catch and he can run.
Yeah, I would lean Bell in the PPR format. I mean, I'm not saying Montgomery can't change and be a better back, but from last year, what we saw is he was touchdown dependent on a week to week. He had a few catches here and there, but it was essentially 50, 60 yards, total yards a game, and if he didn't score, you were disappointed. So I'm assuming this is assumption week one that he's the same player for right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lean Bell because, he was kind of a touchdown dependent running back last year, even with the volume. So I'm going to lean Bell because I kind of know what I'm getting.
Done.
All right, we got a bunch here. So,
dude, let's go to Bobby Trees first.
Bobby Trees.
He's like, where's Bobby Trees?
Left.
To the left.
Woods,
So
yeah.
would you start Robert Woods of the Los
that's
Angeles
it.
Chargers? Thank you for clarifying that. In
The
the flex.
Rams.
Or
The
what?
Rams.
Oh.
I was confused. I was reading it. I was like, what the fuck?
So, or would you do Burrows or Garoppolo? I'm assuming this is a super flex.
Yeah, this is, yeah. I mean, quarterbacks are the most valuable,
Yeah,
so
like
I would go with Joe Burrow. I mean, T said, we expect them to, game script should be them being behind, and if they're not, it should still be a shootout. I feel like that game isn't going to be a low scoring game, and Burrow should drop back, like you said, 30, 35 times, to where I don't see Jimmy G doing that, because if they're winning, they're going to be more run heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Woods is good. I
Yeah,
would start him in any other.
Who do you have on your team that you're not automatically starting Robert Woods?
I would start Robert Woods over. Yeah, fuck.
I almost was gonna say we should not even.
Because Robert Woods, it would be an automatic start. Obviously, if it's a super flex league, like Dre said, quarterbacks do have more value. If I was going to choose between those two quarterbacks, like I said, Robert Woods, he should be in your lineup. But if I was going to go between Burrows and Garoppolo, I'm going to go Garoppolo. Burrows still rookie. Chargers got a good front seven. They got good corners. And Garoppolo's last two games last year against the Cardinals, over 300 yards in both games and 4 touchdowns in both games. I think those were his 2 best games of the season. I know they went out and got Isaiah Simmons. Should help. But, Garoppolo did his thing last year against the Cardinals.
Yeah, just no Ayuk and no Debo's what worries me. If they were playing, I would go Garoppolo, but
Ayuk?
so he's got, like Dante Pettis, Kendrick Bourne, Trent Taylor, but he's got Kittle, that boy. So just throw it to Kittle every time. Honestly,
He might.
honestly,
He might.
he might.
I feel like this next question is kind of easy on the left side to you guys.
Do it.
So we could just answer it real fast.
Yep.
Jerry Jeudy or Ruggs in PPR?
I'd go Judy.
Judy.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, Derek Carr.
How about this one? N'Keal Harry or Mike Evans?
It was game time decision.
Yeah. I think I'd go Mike Evans just because the unknown, but I don't know. It's just there's so much unknown with the Patriots.
I would say, try to find some other than
I was
N'Keal
gonna
Harry.
say, can you pick up?
If you have
I was
anybody
Who's on the
else,
waiver wire
or
almost.
waiver
You
wire.
could stream because Mike. They just said right now it came out. Bleacher Report: Tampa Bay plans to be cautious with Mike Evans if he's cleared to play this afternoon. That was 7 minutes ago. And like I said, he's going to see a shadow from Marcus Lattimore. And
Let me look
they have battles back and forth. Some have been, Mike Evans has done good. Some Mike Evans has done bad. But now you got to throw on he's dealing with the hamstring injury. So I'm going to give the edge to Marcus Lattimore in this matchup. And then N'Keal Harry, former first-round pick, he's kind of one of those guys you just throw it up to him, kind of like a Devontae Parker. But we'll see. He's going to have Byron Jones. He's going to have Xavier Howard on him. Those are 2 top 10 corners in the NFL, and we just haven't really seen N'Keal Harry get it done. So that one's tough. If I'm going to lean one, it's like I have to start one or the other, I would just go N'Keal Harry because it's Edelman and N'Keal Harry in terms of who's going to be receiving targets. Mike Evans, he could get blanketed, and you don't need to force feed him the ball. Where potentially N'Keal Harry could see 7-8 targets, and he's got touchdown upside.
Yeah, I agree with you.
To answer your question, I would actually pick up Scotty Miller instead. I know that doesn't really answer your question.
I was gonna say, if he's there or like a Desean Jackson's there possibly, because I'm looking at like a kind of standard league I play in. What was there? I just picked up Desean Jackson off the waiver wire 2 days ago. I would see what you have for options, but if you don't, and this is the only 2 you trust personally, I would go Harry over Evans.
Yeah, me too. But Miller's probably available, and Brady's been loving him if you read it, and he's going to be playing like the slot. Yeah. And they're on the same team, so you could go pick him up, to be honest. But I would go N'Keal Harry 100% because if Evans doesn't play, N'Keal Harry can at least get you 1 catch.
Yeah. All right, so we got Rager or Akers in full point PPR. So Rager is supposed to play, but how much does he play? I'm a little concerned. I don't think they don't need to rush him in there. I mean, you still have J.J. Arcega-Whitehead, and you got Greg Ward who should be lining up the slot. I mean, you still got Ertz and Goddard who are going to see their targets. Deshaun Jackson.
For sure.
I think I'll just go Akers
I would go
because you don't know how much Rager's going to be out there.
Yeah. Pat's at least resistance for sure. No Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I would go Akers.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
for me. I'm not
running
trusting
backs,
Rager week 1
especially this is probably your flex. So
Yeah, I would go Akers as
yeah,
well.
I would go Akers this week for sure.
All right, Joe Burrow or Baker. I think they both are playing good defenses, so I'm going to go with the guy who's been in the league, which is insane for me to say. I would probably pick Baker Mayfield over Joe Burrow against the Chargers.
I'm taking Baker because of Stefanski. Like I've been so excited to see what he does, and he finally came out and said he's actually calling the plays because at first they weren't sure because he's a head coach, and they were going to go with it's like a QB coach or like an offensive guy, but Stefanski came out yesterday or the day before and said he's actually calling the plays. So that actually excites me because, like I said, he's made Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins look really, really good. So I'm going to go with Baker just to see what Stefanski draws up with the play actions in the zone.
Really, really ridiculously good.
I mean, he made Case Keenum get a payday, and he's not even playing anymore. So yeah, I would.
To me, this is kind of neck and neck
Really,
in terms.
really
It kind of comes down to the offensive line here. I mean, the Browns' offensive line I think is going to be one of the better offensive lines in the NFL, and like Dre said, what Stefanski likes to do. They like to run play action. Baker was actually highly effective out of play action last year. Burrow, that the Bengals, they do get Jonah Williams back, the left tackle from Alabama. They drafted in the first round last year. But I mean, when you have one of the Bosa brothers coming off the edge, you got Melvin Ingram. They drafted Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma, and you got those corners over there. So yeah, the Bengals offensive line could be in for a long day today. So yeah, I'll go Baker right there.
All right, this next guy, he's an angry elf. He's asked 3 times in the chat.
Which one?
He's an angry elf.
Sorry,
Singletary or James White? What do you guys think?
3 times you've told us, what is it? Standard, PPR? What we got? 3
Either,
times.
Either way, it's
yeah,
Singletary
3 chances.
for me, regardless of the format.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Singletary on that.
Yeah,
one.
it's Singletary for me right there. We'll see how they utilize James White. I mean, Sonny Michel's still there for whatever reason.
Rex Burkhead.
Rex Burkhead. He'll
Brandon
probably get
Bolden.
a ton of runs. Bolden opted out.
Cam-
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
And
But,
Cam Newton, yeah.
But yeah, it should be Singletary, and I mean, like I said, Singletary 3rd or 4th best juke rate. He doesn't need to see 15 plus touches to be highly effective. You can give the guy 10 touches, and he's got the ability to take one to the house.
For sure.
In a
Every time he
matchup
touches
against
the
the
ball.
Jets, though, he probably will see 15 plus touches.
Yeah, the Jets are without C.J. Mosley, who's their Pro Bowl linebacker. I mean, no more Jamal Adams. He's in Seattle. He's a good run stuffer. And then there are also 2 linebackers for the Jets who are going to be out today. So, yeah, that middle of the Jets defense is pretty much gutted. So, yeah, they should be able to run all over them today. The Bills should.
By the way, if you haven't subbed already, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to the channel if we were able to help us out. You know what I'm saying? Or like this video at least. But we can move on. I'm going to say Singletary as well, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Bless
Renfro.
you.
Sorry, guys.
We got Renfro, Bourne, or
Moss.
half point PPR. That's ugly.
Is it weird that I think Kendrick Bourne is a sneaky player here? I mean, like you said, no Ayuk. You got no Deebo Samuel. I mean, they brought in guys like J.J. Nelson and Tavon Austin. Those guys are already banged up. Jalen Hurts tears his ACL. It's like he's the only guy who's been there. He knows the system. He's going to be on the field, I think, majority of the snaps.
Yeah, no, he got his extension. The thing about Kendrick Bourne, he will literally just have one drop a game where you're like, how the fuck does he drop? And then he catches a touchdown. That's like amazing. So
When I've seen those,
trust him in the end zone.
When they get close, I've noticed that they'll lean on him when they get close for whatever reason.
Yeah, he's reliable.
I'll take that. You could drop the ball and get me a touchdown.
For sure. He always will do it. He's sneaky underrated. Like you said, he's going to be available to be on the field. It's going to be him, Pettis, and I mean, that's it. And Kittle, so yeah.
So you guys leaning Bourne out of 3? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll go Jason Bourne.
I go Jason Bourne.
It's just hard
Bourne.
when we just say to the last guy starts Devin Singletary and then tell the next guy to start Zach Moss. It's like I'm gonna go.
Well, I mean, if it's standard, maybe.
Yeah.
I said I'm giving the same opinion week 1 on every question that's asked. Is like I don't know what Zach Moss's role is going to be. Is he 30% snap rate out there? Is he not trusted in passing situations because he's a rookie? Is Devin Singletary the second goal line back after Josh Allen?
Yeah, and it's always going to be hindsight. Where, it's like if he balls, where it's like, well, how the fuck?
How are we supposed to know? We're assuming that he's going to do these X things, but we have no idea. So I don't like fucking with that personally. So I'm out on like some of these situations.
If the Bills start smacking, though, I'm sure they'll get him in there just to get him in. See some snaps, but we don't know.
That's a possible scenario, and that could happen. But it's like I'm not gonna guess, like, because I'm getting like. I don't want to say lucky, but I'm getting lucky that the game script went that way, and they were blowing him out, and they were just like, "Here's Zach Moss, we're sitting starters."
Which, keep in mind, try to think of game script in your head when you're trying to make these decisions. Like, if a shitty team is playing a really good team, it's going to be tough to start that shitty team's running back. Just take that into account. You can still ask us. I
actually like this next question.
Yeah, this one's actually kind of tough because you got DJ Chark or Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones with Kenny Golladay out, he could be, if that's depending on the format, if that's PPR, it could be.
I mean, Marvin Jones
could be nice.
I'm gonna actually, I don't know if it's a surprise you guys, but I'm gonna lean Marvin Jones with Kenny Golladay out.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, Matthew Stafford. I trust Matthew Stafford a little bit more than I trust Gardner Minshew. I mean, Gardner Minshew's fantasy value becomes a little bit more with rushing than it does throwing.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're pacing these quarterbacks out, Gardner Minshew's probably a 4,000 yard quarterback. Stafford could be at 5,000. I mean, I think you have similar touchdown upside, if not more, with Marvin Jones. I mean, we've seen Marvin Jones have massive games, and I think the target volume on both of them is relatively. You're going to assume the target share is relatively similar, but I actually like Marvin Jones in this matchup more than DJ Chark.
I just want to know who you have that you're debating on this. I mean, I guess you obviously weren't drafting Marvin Jones to be a starter in your lineup, so you could have some pretty good receivers at your 1 and 2 spot. Maybe this is like a flex consideration question here, but I would try to get both these guys into my lineup if I can, because I think they both have top 12 upside this week. I think I might lean a little more Chark, but I think you can't miss on this one. This is like a win-win situation for you.
Yeah, because Marvin Jones gets you those games where he just goes off. So,
and then the lack of Danny Amendola at 100% too, that's the other factor that makes me lean a little bit more Marvin Jones, because he has his other third wide receiver weapon a little banged up. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, if Marvin Jones sees 12 to 15 targets in this matchup, it wouldn't surprise me if he just peppers him. Versus I don't know if Minshew has to force feed Chark in this matchup. I just see a little bit more upside this week, particularly with Marvin Jones, than I do with Chark.
Yeah.
But either way, like I said, if you can start them both, like Tyra said, I mean, I would find a way to do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, we got full point PPR, Odell or T.Y. Hilton. I'm going with T.Y. Hilton on this one, but I don't know about you guys.
Yep, they're playing the Jags. Phillip Rivers he slangs it. They're gonna.
See, I might.
Pick Odell.
The Jags corners.
I'm going T.Y. Hilton on that one, but that's just me.
100%. Especially how we just said you have a Paris Campbell, you have a Zach Pascal, you have Michael Pittman Jr. to where those guys aren't going to be eating as many targets or taking away from T.Y. Hilton as you will with. I mean, you're going to have Austin Hooper, you're going to have Kareem Hunt, you're going to have Jarvis Landry. So for this week I would go with T.Y. Hopefully he plays 85% of the snaps, and I think you're good.
Yeah, your boy T is going to go with your boy T here on this one.
I was going to say, don't do it.
I mean, Odell, obviously, I think he's any given week. It's Odell Beckham, I guess. He could go out there and have, that boom game. But if there's could Odell lead the team in targets? Yeah, but he could not be the leading target guy for the Browns. It could be a Landry. It could be a running. Who knows, But I think I can't see a situation where T.Y. Hilton isn't the leading target receiver for the Colts today.
But I could also see a situation where DJ Hayden and the cornerbacks are trying to take away T.Y. Hilton, who has been somewhat boomer bust throughout his career in matchups. So I'm going to be the contrary on this one. I'm going to go Odell in this matchup. It's similar game scripts potentially for where game plans for both of them. I just like Odell's upside a little bit more than I do with T.Y. Hilton. And I could see a very similar target share with both of them. So I'm going to lean Odell in a full PPR.
And what we got over there on Instagram is, what is that, a hand?
Oh, yeah, that's the homie Jake.
Yo.
Shout out.
Oh, Jake.
Good looks. What up?
What's up, brother?
G?
From State Farm?
Go check out Jake's.
Jake Gallup. Yeah, I see you. I was like, I don't know. Word.
All right, so we got Boston Scott or Hollywood Brown in full point PPR. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown on this one.
Me too.
He's healthy. Guy put on like 20 pounds. I mean, he's the number one wide receiver there for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Boston Scott, I think he's not a bad play, but I mean, when the Eagles' offensive line being down 2 offensive linemen and then also Lane Johnson being banged up, I'm a little worried for that offensive line for Philly. So yeah, I'll go Hollywood Brown. He's got the boom game, The ceiling is crazy for
That's
a
probably
guy
my
like Hollywood Brown.
Nope. Yeah, I agree. They already said they wanted to put more emphasis on Lamar Jackson being able to, like exploit those one-on-ones, want him to get a little better in the pass game. Obviously, he's probably still going to run for 1,000 in his sleep, but I feel like he is trying to make that step forward as being a better passer. And I mean, yeah, Hollywood is a monster. Like you said, gained all that weight. And if you remember last year, week 1, he went nuts. Oh, yeah, play the Dolphins. I forgot.
He's gonna put. He already has one hand down on week 1 last year. He's gonna put the other hand. He's gonna be full Hollywood Brown.
Both of them.
Both hands going down.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all these goddamn games. It's been so long, but I just like you said, the upside. Hollywood can easily get you 25 points. To where Boston Scott's path to 25 points would be a lot more difficult.
For sure.
All right. Pick 2 of 4: Terry McLaurin, Mark Ingram, D-Jax, Marvin Jones.
Pick Colby. Colby, I'll go D-Jax for the upside and Marvin Jones for the upside. I'm not doubting Terry McLaurin's talent, but you should see a shadow from Darius Slay, and plus you got Dwayne Haskins throwing the ball. Ingram, obviously you got the touchdown upside, probably better than all these guys. But do they bring in some Dobbins? You obviously got Lamar Jackson, can snake some touchdowns. Mark Andrews is a good red zone threat as well. So I think the highest upside of those 4 guys is D-Jax and Marvin Jones. If you're shooting for the moon.
I'm gonna go Ingram and Marvin Jones. I mean, D-Jax has always been one of those week-to-week wild cards. Could he boom like Tyler just brought out? Yeah, but I'm gonna go Ingram. I know he's gonna see a workload. I know he's gonna be the red zone back. He's gonna be trusted in passing situations to protect Lamar Jackson over J.K. Dobbins in his first game in the NFL. So I'm gonna go Ingram and Marvin Jones.
I am actually gonna go with Ingram and Marvin Jones also. I mean, the regression for Ingram with the touchdowns, obviously that's going to come down with 15, but week 1 for this week, I still think he's still the guy. I mean, Dobbins will get love, but I think Ingram he can get you still 80 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. So no matter what you decide, Marvin Jones was one of them.
Marvin Jones. Don't fuck
At least
around.
you got Marvin Jones and just flip a coin on Mark Ingram and Desean Jackson.
Word.
Kareem Hunt or Zach Moss, half-point PPR. I know what I think.
Kareem Hunt.
I go Kareem Hunt.
2 times on Sundays,
Kareem Hunt.
which is today.
All right.
Zach Moss is just too unknown. We've covered that.
Yeah.
I
Well, his
think
last name's Moss. Maybe are y'all related?
Someone said
James?
Lindsay or Zeke.
Where does
Dude,
that?
I'm gonna favor Lindsay in this matchup.
grass.
Yeah.
All right, we go
Zeke.
over to the Instagram. We got DD Lamb, DD Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Higbee, or James Robinson in the flex format.
I'm going to go CD and DD Lamb. I'm going to take both of them.
Yeah, I'll go. Hey, DD, get into my laboratory.
That's
Get into my lineup, DD.
By the way, we bet Mari Cooper or CD Lamb for most points.
For today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beer bet them. CD Lamb would score more points than Amari Cooper today.
I would take that bet.
Oh.
I would take that bet for sure. I mean, no, sorry, I lied. I think CD Lamb is gonna out-yard Amari Cooper.
I said
this
that's
week.
what he said.
All right, but I was cool.
You know,
Honestly, I was like, fuck.
No, yeah.
I don't know, I was like half out of it.
Yeah, I'd go CD. Like I said, I think Ramsey is going to blanket Cooper, and you don't have to force feed him the ball. When you have playmakers like Michael Gallup, you got playmakers like CD Lamb. Like I said, everyone's on the Blake Jarwin train. I'm not, but he's a guy who's out there and can catch the ball. So I just can't imagine a scenario where they're just going to force feed Amari Cooper when he's getting blanketed. We've seen Amari Cooper just disappear in games. I think this is kind of like Sunday Night Football. This is kind of like a CD Lamb breakout party where he comes out and he makes like some plays, and you're kind of just like, whoa, like that. Like, why didn't he get drafted earlier than 17?
Yeah, he's a stud. He's gonna it's gonna be a coming out. He's gonna be getting their nickel back. I mean, and this guy's he's a straight savage already. He's better than Michael Gallup is, I would say. So
Dude, not just Dre just sees the future. He knows.
Yeah.
Did you see this? This guy said, "There's no relation, but I'm faster."
I was like, James Moss. He's trying to get his boy. Hey, in that case, I'll take some James Moss over.
Hey, how do I get James?
Over
How do I
Kareem
get
Hunt.
James Moss in my flex?
I have to pick you up, bro.
Yeah, seriously.
All
right, did we do
Yeah,
this?
I agree too with CD. It was between Higbee and CD, but I'm gonna lean CD.
Okay, we got Desean Jackson or Michael Gallup, full PPR flex. That's a
I'll
hard
go
one.
Gallup.
I'd go Gallup.
I think Deshaun might have a higher ceiling, but a safer floor.
Yeah.
Gallup, and I think Gallup's ceiling is still pretty high.
It's still a pretty good ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Gallup also.
Yeah, it's like Deshaun Yeah, one of them has a popcorn ceiling. The other one has a nice one.
All right, we got Matt Ryan or Kyler Murray.
I'll go. I just saw this actually. Cardinals offensive line, not the best line. They went out and got Josh Jones from Houston. I think it was second round, third round, or something like that.
Steal.
He's actually out today, so that kind of just lowers Kyler Murray's value when he got that 49er front seven. I'll go Matt Ryan, especially in a game that's the second highest over under. I think this Falcons-Seahawks game is going to be a shootout, a little back and forth.
Yeah, I think Matt Ryan's going to throw a touchdown to probably both Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones.
And even himself.
And he's going to do the Mariota for sure. I would and he's the highest. He dropped back the most out of any QB last year, right? 600 times.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change. You got Gurley who can catch the ball to the backfield. I'll take
my boy Hayden Hurst, hopefully a little breakout game.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to go Matt Ryan, Kyler, and a 4-point per passing touchdown.
Oh, yep. Good call.
All right. We got the next one. We got Le'Veon McLaurin or Jonathan Taylor, full point PPR. You just got to start one. That's a good one. That's a hard one. I'm going between Le'Veon and
I'm gonna.
That's a decently hard one actually.
I'm gonna go Le'Veon. It comes down to safety with the PPR for me when it comes down to it. I love McLaurin the talent, but he is gonna see some shadow of Darius Slay. Dwayne Haskins is throwing him the ball, so that factors into it. Jonathan Taylor, while I think he does have some potential for an explosion game just due to his the offensive line, the matchup, and his talent. We don't know what we're going to get week 1 out of him. So we don't even know if we're going to see him in the passing game because you have Naheem Hines, who was,
he said he's down by 40 already.
Well, in that case,
what do they have?
In that case,
Kelsey
you need to pick up James Moss and put him in your flex.
I think I would still go Le'Veon Bell. He's going to be if he gets into the end zone and sees 5 catches and totals 80 yards. You're going to end up being happy. That's in the realm of possibility. You're going to end up being happy in the day. Jonathan Taylor is going to need to probably break one loose to have a big game. And then McLaurin's going to probably need to do the same against the Eagles. He's going to probably need to break a long one, which these guys can. But Le'Veon still has a pretty decent ceiling, even though it's a tough matchup. So I'd rather get 12 from Le'Veon than 4 or 5 from McLaurin. Yeah. Worst case scenario.
Yeah, I go Le'Veon too. I think McLaurin and Taylor, like I said, could they have a big game? But I think they're more tied to the touchdown upside. If McLaurin and Jonathan Taylor don't fall into the end zone, they could only get you 8 points potentially. Where Le'Veon Bell, even if he doesn't find the end zone, like you said, if he gets you 80 total yards, 4 or 5 receptions, he's getting you a safe floor, 12, 13 points.
Yeah. And if he falls into the end zone, then you're in good shape.
Yeah.
To where he's not dependent on being good. If he does that, then you're really good.
Yeah.
So
should I start Devonta Parker or Jarvis Landry? Ooh,
I'm going Parker.
I'm moist right now because you got both these guys.
He's like,
I'm going Parker over Landry.
I'm gonna go Parker as well.
Thanks. I'm gonna go Jarvis.
Hey Chris, thanks for the sub on YouTube.
I wanna. If it's a full point PPR, I think I'll lean Jarvis.
He's gonna eat today.
I think if the hip injury obviously is cause for concern, but I think me and Anthony, we've talked about it. If the player was really that injured, I don't think they would throw him out there. We've seen guys like Galladay. He's not playing. So yeah, I if it's a full point PPR, I might lean Landry, but Devonta Parker's, that's a tough matchup right there. I think the thing that kind of worries me is that Devonta Parker did have the monster game against New England last year and Stephon Gilmore, but it's kind of like Gesicki's still kind of finding his rhythm. No Preston Williams. This year you got a whole new offense.
Good running game.
You're going to have some running backs there. I don't know if he's going to be forcing Devonta Parker 11 targets like he did last game. So maybe Devonta only sees 7 targets, where Landry could still see. Landry's a target guy, and in a full point PPR, that's kind of what Landry. That's his bread and butter.
I'll give you why I go Parker is. You bring up the new offenses. That's an offense that's actually featured their number 1 wide receiver year after year. So there is potential for. My full season outlook on Parker was a lot more brighter than it was going into this. There is a history of I've paid attention to players with hip injuries. Yes, they come back and they play, but week 1, there's a pretty decent history of them not looking 100%. and losing some of that speed factor. And against the Ravens in a tough matchup, I think the Patriots-Dolphins games has a higher chance of being a shootout than the Browns and Ravens does. Or even if it is, I think the Dolphins have a better chance of staying in that shootout than the Browns do against the Ravens. So I'm going to lean Parker with that. The touchdown upside is a lot higher to me than it is with Jarvis Landry. So Parker for me.
One thing about the Landry hip I could just say is that he dealt with the hip injury all last season, and he played through it. So I feel like if he could do as good as he did last year with the hip, getting surgery, he should be just as good, if not better.
But there's potential for it to slow you down. I know you love Landry, but you have to see that. So it's like that's potential for that.
But Landry's never been a burner. I mean, he's more of a possession guy.
So if you lose, if you lose
Yeah.
burst in the intermediate routes, that's going to affect you because you're not a burner. That's going to give you potential for ability to separate less.
You don't think that. And I'm not arguing. I think Devonta Parker is, this is really close right here. I'm just saying in terms of the health of Jarvis Landry, like on a totally different topic.
Yeah.
You don't think that, if my hip is hurt and I'm playing the whole season with it hurt, if I get surgery, you don't think that I'm going to be better now? Like, I feel like I would lose more speed and burst with it being hurt compared to it
That's
getting
what I've been
repaired.
saying about Big Ben, and you guys all make fun of me.
Except for me.
Yeah.
We'll just see it right there, too.
Yeah,
And
we'll
I
just
feel-
see. Let's get into the next
Yeah.
question. We're running out of time.
Yeah, because we only got 5 more minutes left, so we're trying to answer all these real
we'll
quick.
bang these out quick.
So
Bang 'em.
Flex PPR, James White, John Brown, or Jalen Rager. And then he also – oh, no, wait, that's a different person. Yeah, Flex PPR, James White, John Brown, or Jalen Rager.
Definitely not Rager.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. John Brown's more of a standard, but I still like his upside. He can get you one deep ball, and if he gets a touchdown, it only helps.
Yeah, I'm
gonna go John Brown.
I'm going to say James
Smoky.
White has a safer floor, but if you're going to shoot for upside, I would go John Brown.
Yeah, I go John Brown. I think the addition of Diggs helps John Brown because instead of playing against number one corners, he's going against the number 2 now.
And he's more of a 2 for sure.
They already have the chemistry, Josh Allen and John Brown.
I don't know. Just it being PPR, I kind of like James White, but that's just my opinion.
The next
But,
one will be that.
we can go into am I crazy to sit Chris Carson for Crowder in a full point PPR due to the hot hand comment by Carroll? You're kind of crazy, but I mean I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't say you're crazy, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I
personally.
would start Carson.
Yeah, I would go Carson, and then if you're wrong, then adjust. But you can't sit a starting running back and not right now. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it week 1 because Carson can easily go off and get you 100 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
James White or Le'Veon Bell, full point PPR flex. I'll go Le'Veon Bell because he's going to be on the field more than James White will be on the field. Le'Veon shouldn't leave the field at all this game.
yeah, unless Gase just is like yells at him and takes him off.
He had Kelsey and Mahomes. Thanks, Chris, for the subscribe. We appreciate it, bro.
Good looks, man.
Yeah,
Cheers,
brother.
you.
If anybody hasn't
Breakfast.
subscribed already, help us out. We got you.
And
We appreciate it,
We
guys.
need to get some teddies. But no, man. Good luck on your games. Hope you listen to us and went with your gut at the same time.
What'd you guys say on the Le'Veon Bell? James White?
Le'Veon.
Okay.
Le'Veon.
Yeah.
Le'Veon.
Yeah.
All right, what about this one? So I got a text message from somebody. Cam Newton or Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. What do you got?
I just don't. I'll give you why I just don't.
That's a
I don't
close
know
one.
who Cam is going into week
Yeah, I
1.
just gotta
know.
see it.
I know who Carson Wentz is going into week 1. I don't know who this Patriots offense identity is going to be week 1. I know what the Eagles identity is going to be week 1. And the Washington Redskins actually do have a pretty decent run stuffing defense. So it could lead Carson Wentz to throw a lot more.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Wentz on this one too. Just because I'm kind of thinking like Cam Newton he obviously offers the rushing upside with his legs, but is there like a guy on that team that can he can hit a 70-yard bomb with? Like no, I mean Desean Jackson can hit a 70-yard bomb, and then you got Ertz and Goddard who are some pretty good reliable tight ends right there. Like you said, Cam Newton's still kind of finding his rhythm and chemistry with Edelman with N'Keal Harry. I mean the tight ends that's a question mark as well. So yeah, I think I'd go Wentz.
Yeah.
Asking for a friend, would you go Dallas Goedert or Jonnu Smith?
I think I'm going Jonnu. Why not? Monday Night Football. I mean, Corey Davis went undrafted in every single league I was into. It's not a thing there. I think Jonnu Smith could be the number 2 passing option on this offense. And what the Titans like to do, play action. And it's just Tannehill was highly effective out of the play action. Dallas Goedert to me is still kind of the third option behind Ertz and Desean Jackson to me.
All right, we got another question. We got DJ Chark. He's got double DJs.
DJ
I
Shark.
have
DJ
just somebody in my
DJ
league
Moore
has that too.
and Jonathan Taylor, half-point PPR.
Oh, DJ. I'm going to go DJ Moore.
I'm going to go DJ Moore. I'm
was the
assuming start one.
Yeah.
What was the question?
DJ Chark, DJ Moore, double DJs, and then Jonathan Taylor half point.
I mean, I guess I'll go DJ Moore with you guys here. I'm not the biggest on DJ Moore, but you can't deny the talent. I mean, the guy was the first receiver drafted when he came out, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just all in on the Chark. Maybe I got Chark eyes.
I just got one too. Would you do Josh Reynolds, Jonnu Smith, or Michael Pittman Jr.?
What was it? I missed it. Where is it at?
It's in my head. Jonnu.
Okay, let's answer this one. Cup and Metcalf already in lineup. Oh, so he's saying he already had them in the lineup. Okay. Carson Wentz or Jimmy G?
Carson Wentz.
I'll go Carson Wentz. We just don't know what's going on with the smoke and the air quality over there, and there's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, and Chris won. Yeah, we're gonna go DJ Moore for show. For show.
All right. I think we're.
Can I beer bet? I want to do a beer bet.
Let's do it.
Chark over Moore.
You're gonna say DJ in what?
Just fuck it. Why not?
Standard.
Yeah.
Half point.
Half point.
He said, "Yep."
And we're gonna chug these beers. Well, he's gonna chug this beer today. As soon as we go
Right
back.
before I don't go to work.
Yeah, brother. Of
No
course,
promise.
we got you, Chris. We got you, bro.
All right,
Got you, man.
You guys got
Appreciate y'all.
60 seconds. Any last questions?
No, if you have any more questions, you can hit me on Twitter.
Yeah, all these are in the description down below.
Are they?
Everybody's social medias.
Cool.
If you-
Holla at me. You
Yeah.
can do it in between games. I'll have my phone on me.
Yeah.
Or if you want to just talk some shit, I'm here.
We made a bad call. Talk shit to Dre.
Yeah,
All right,
tell you
guys.
Yeah.
Once again, like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe. We appreciate everything. Good luck today. Now we got to make sure and finalize our own line.